Sigh. We are back with more Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. First, 2 episodes ago, we had the epic encoding failure, in which I had to re-record the entire episode. And now, we have the epic audio failure from last episode, where I sounded like I had a metal bucket over my head because of audio echo for some godforsaken reason that I am still unable to describe. I literally had to tangle and mess with it. I had to tangle and mangle with freaking audio stuff for over a day, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was, to the point where I even had to reset my audio, and I think my mic is probably going to sound worse as a consequence, but it's working at least now, I think, and I hope to God that during this recording it doesn't go to crap again. But we're back, and that is what matters. And I honestly don't even know what fixed the audio. It just I turned off my computer and then just left it overnight and then came back and now it's fine. So yeah. Last time, we accused Miss Green, Miss Olive Green, of attempting to poison good old Shamspear. I say good old, but he's not really a good old. But let's get back to it, I guess.
Order, order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Ellipses is what she has to say.
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? Why did you try to kill me?
It's been a few days. Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So, that's what's behind all this. You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life?
I'd say it's probably Duncan Ross, if I had to guess.
Take that!
Duncan Ross.
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Garrett's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. Also, I just hit my hand on my desk, so that's fun.
I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. Oh, that does ring a vague... Of course, yes, I remember now.
His memory was failing him, poor old man.
The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspear blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple.
Ugh.
Oh, you sweating. Mega sweat. Sweating bullets, one might say.
Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths, that's all people care about. If it's an interesting story they want to know, it doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean Duncan was...
Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé.
Fiancé?
You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspear. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry.
Mary!
Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspear, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe?
Oh, damn.
Hey, we can actually see your face there, because the camera's backwards.
This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each on different counts of murder.
Yes, my lord. That's correct.
Objection!
Oh shit. This is nutty! I've never seen this in this whole series. This is insane. Accusing two separate people for two separate counts of murder and attempted murder respectively.
Inhaling so deeply it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded.
What?
Why would Mr. Shamspear have wanted to kill these lodgers as you say? You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies, I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green. I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel. That's kind of cool. She's holding it like a sword and shield now.
Objection!
But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? Sorry. I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. I am incapable of recording without yawning, I swear. Sorry? You're right, I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life.
Oh, vileness, oh, villainy, oh, tyranny, oh,
Rotundity of woman. But in any case, whene'er I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness, oh artfulness, oh tyranny, oh profanity of woman.
We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion, but for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed.
Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards is loose, and underneath it I discovered a secret hiding place. Yes, we also discovered that hiding place. Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Ah, yes. Well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty. I had a feeling that's what she was going to say. What? There was something in it? Something in it? Yes. That key. This rather nice key. Oh my god. She's literally been wearing it on her this entire case. Could I... It's literally the key to the case, probably. Ah! What are you doing with that? What the... Every ounce of color is drained from his face. Yo, he is freaking out. Give it here. Give it to me now. It's mine. I inherited it. Inherited?
What was that, witness? What did you say?
Where's my... trying to find my cursor. There it is.
You inherited it?
No, What's all this about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Yo, that's kind of base, not gonna lie, but also,
Give it back this minute. Give it to me.
Calm yourself, witness.
So Mr. Shamspear has tried and in one case succeeded to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. Literally. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shamspear at first. But considering everything we know now, I think there is actually something that could explain it.
What?
We need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all of these events.
In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it that you can say? What is it that you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamspear's alleged crimes?
Shit. Maybe this? We haven't presented this yet, and it's gotta come up at some point. What is this? Suspected murder. Worth of loot he stole remains uncovered. Huh. Well, this doesn't reveal much, actually. I don't know if we can use that. Shit, I have no idea. I actually don't have any idea. I feel like I should post. I feel like I should present this just out of the fact that we have nothing else.
Take that!
Is that it?
That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file. How did you get hold of that?
Selden? The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room.
Well, yes, we know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. Oh, so it's the room that we're trying to use as a connection. I see.
And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died.
The sum £1,000 worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Yes, of course, it's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here. £1,000 lost en route to hell. That was how the papers summed it up.
And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret. The location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key, to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Wait. Selden entrusting that inmate with his... Wait a second. Oh, I forget, but wasn't Shamspear convicted of petty crimes in the past? Don't tell me he was frickin' Selden's cellmate. Holy shit, if that's so... Yo, that is... Oh my god. Yeah, and he's flinching. Oh my god. You mean this key has... Mr. Shamspear, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? Oh, what are you talking about? 'Tis a false charge, I tell you, a false charge.
The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file.
Oh shit.
But a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is. But even if it's true, Why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings?
There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. Oh my god.
So it all comes out. Does Bruno Mars is gay?
Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamspeare's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense.
When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garrard's lodgings in the hope of renting Miss Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice.
Because Selden's old room had already been let to someone else, Mr. Duncan Ross.
Which is why Mr. Shamspeare subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room.
However, that's when our man Soseki came around day one. A certain jittery someone had beaten him to it.
Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less.
So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspeare? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict. You... Oh, damn. Wow, did he just give in? Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch me neck. Oh, right, sorry, this is probably the other dude. Listen, I want you to have me loot. Anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they caught me. Here, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shamspeare. Oh, shit. Did he actually just admit it to us? It's mine. What did he just say? Oh, is he gonna go crazy and say that it's mine? It's mine. That loot is mine. He's gonna go crazy, isn't he? Holy shit. Oh, man. Mr. Shamspeare? Holy shit, he's... Oh, man, that is a face. It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow.
Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember. Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen?
Oh man, I was not expecting this.
If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do.
I mean, the jury could put you in the hot seat, I guess.
You can't arrest me, for the time being anyway. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I just give up?
There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. How are we gonna... Do we, like, have to get him to admit it somehow? I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. Does that mean we have to find proof? There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him.
No!
He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first.
A fine plan. Were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross.
I have an idea. Wagahai. Where he's dropped into the room from somewhere. There's gotta be a hole in the ground somewhere in Sosuke's room. Be it buried under his piles of books, under a bookshelf or something. Maybe even under a broken board like in Shamspeare's room.
If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule.
If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly.
This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden. Well, we don't have it with us, and by it, you should say he. My lord?
Yes, counsel.
The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we are already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to its whereabouts. Oh, you sweating. He's sweating. He ain't doing the crazy face, though, so I'm glad he's not doing that, at least. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then. Wait, are we gonna frickin' check Wagahai's handprints?
Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hidden place of the deceased convict's hull?
This. We need handprints, or paw prints, or something. I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings.
That's right, my lord. Exposes a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene.
Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes.
A great detective? Is that some kind of joke?
Okay, that's a pretty cool pose, even if you are a piece of shit.
Do you really think I'm gonna be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title?
Oh, is that him? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Oh my god. Yo, these two are meant to be in the same room together, not gonna lie.
Oh, 'tis Sherlock Sholmes himself.
What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not?
Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long. And I see your complexion has worsened since last we met. God, he takes no shit. He just openly insults Von Zykes of all people. Mr. Sholmes? He does know Lord Von Zykes, well enough to say something like that in any case. I mean, to be fair, he says that type of stuff to anyone's, so I think he doesn't need to know them that well.
Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
If I may, my lord. Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already.
Clues, you say?
I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. Oh. Really, I haven't seen a character with more different poses and expressions than Shamsphere in this entire series, probably. You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution. And in your case, sir, I used the teacup you had been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Sasuke-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that's hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? We don't have the evidence. I think I know what it is. I was wrong to say Wagahai, though. We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot. Someone the convict owned happens to be in the possession of someone listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution? Give us the key. Miss Green. Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? Oh. He hits yet another new expression. I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it even more. That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Oh. Mr. Shamspear is one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hull is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. Ugh. So, Mr. Shamspear, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No, give the key to me. The detective shan't have it. It's over, Mr. Shamspear. No, no. You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. The curtain falls on your act, sir. Whoa. Oh, shameful spear, despair, be thy name. And Miss Green left the stand for him to have his breakdown. I'm glad that Miss Green cooperated at least. Oh, here we go. Sob story time. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room, that's all. So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods? Yet after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Gerda really has had a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume. What unfortunate timing. Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day in there reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. which is why on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. Oh. William Shakespeare. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question.
From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. I'm smarter than all of you.
Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done.
Well, he didn't refute it.
He was just a greedy man. He was poor and probably desperate, I suppose, but in the end he killed one person, and after he did kill one, he continued and tried to do it to another.
At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died.
CG. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? That was the last time we ever spoke. That very night he fell victim to the gas. God. If only I'd known it was going to happen. I'd have insisted that he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school. But something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped, Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grub's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him, and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. I don't know what publican means, but I assume that means, like, proprietor or something? I don't know. Also funny how there's something that says William Robbins here, when considering we have William Shakespeare. Just funny coincidence with the first name. That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly believe it. But the pipes have been checked, no problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone, and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. A rumor I had heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations. A rumor? Oh, you mean... Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? And eventually, I assumed that flicker of doubt turned into a great roaring inferno. Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. A black market? I'd never been, I just heard people talk about them.
And you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident, or was it murder?
And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait.
If Mr. Shamspear is innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. That's actually really smart. He would only pay if he deserved it, and if he was innocent, then nothing would happen to him. I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shamspear. And then I wrote him this little note in order to get him away so she could smear the poison. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Damn. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so that he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Shamspear followed the instructions to the letter.
Yeah. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. So I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Huh. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just desserts. Oh. I appreciate her honesty, if nothing else. God damn. Wow. What a tale and what a case. Certainly gone through nothing like this before.
3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward.
Yes, my lord.
I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes.
And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you.
Wow.
Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green.
Yes, my lord?
You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspear.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Shamspear, you will be tried for the murder of Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present.
Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Yesterday at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle. I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh. And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shamspear didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Honto arigato. Oh, Miss Green. Poor gal.
Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Yes, my lord.
The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty.
We are in full agreement, my lord.
In that case, I hereby declare the defendant not guilty.
All the fireworks. Now it's just trying not to set the courtroom on fire. Haha.
Court is adjourned.
I was hoping to hear them all say not guilty, but all the jurors. And thus we have reached the end of the case. 3:24 p.m. Back in the antechamber. Oh, yes. Yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. For a second time. Divine justice. My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. No, this has nothing to do with my mustache. Mustache. Some say that a luxurious mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Once again, you've saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for England literature, also in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruits of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room, and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? Ah, but a week ago now. I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did. And I've seen more of life in this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel like I've begun to see this true face of the English that's so far been hiding from behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are humans. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have our same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live. Well said. I've come to feel the same way. That's some real profound stuff, Soseki. I've made a decision too. Oh right, he said this. I'm gonna cut short my study tour here and return to Japan. What? Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know, that does tug at my heartstrings, it really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own.
A novel of sorts, I suppose.
Oh my, so you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature.
Why not, when that is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache? I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best.
After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. Oh. Oh, right, that was... Sorry. Sasuke changed his pose, so I thought that was him speaking. Ah, that's very true. And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor. The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes! Face of such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. He's like, I was trying to be real cool and profound, but now you've just put my real intentions to light. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Objection! I love Sasuke. He's easily got to be one of my favorite characters in this series. Same with Sholmes. Honestly, just most of, like, the main cast and secondary characters. Well, secondary... Yeah, I guess secondary is the right term. I don't know. And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Sasuke-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. But why did Sholmes not want us to talk about the second one? I still don't get it. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Sasada-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well. There's gotta be something about that case. Maybe it was Selden? That's all I can think of. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial, on the following day. Oh, so wait, it wasn't actually this case? It was the day that we uncovered the loot, hidden by the now-deceased convict in his former lodgings. Is that going to be a separate case, or is that going to be... Okay, I was about to say, we're going to have an entire separate case taken... I was about to say, that would be a bit weird if we had 3 separate cases. If we had frickin' case 1-4, then 2-2, and then 2-3 that are all, like, within, like, days to a week and all related to each other. I don't know. Also, wow, he really does have a gas... He has a freaking gas meter over there buried behind the books. Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. So I guess this is us trying to find the loot. To uncover the secret hiding place in just 1 day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? I mean, to be fair, Ryunosuke, have you seen this room? As I believe I told you, my dear fellow, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. I still think that there's gotta be a reason Wagahai was in frickin' Shamspeare's room. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? Much. No. Gregsy's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hilly. Happily? I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's hole. There's gotta be something in it. What is that? Oh. It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar, but it has blood on it. A collar? It's huge, though. And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Have you noticed on the inside there are some dark stains? Blood. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then, of course, there's this emblem here. What is that emblem? A large letter B and a small crown. We'll probably get to the bottom of that.
What does it signify, do you think?
I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know. What could it have been?
That's enough of that, I think. Oh, so this is the reason why Sholmes told us not to talk about this case. Because of this. It must be like, I don't know, maybe like a high up in England? I don't know. What's the matter, Mr. Sholmes? All the colors drained from his face. Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? Could be valuable evidence, after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over now. It's gonna be weird to see that come back to the surface at a later case. I never seen a collar that large before. You sure it was a collar for, I don't know, maybe it could have been a dog collar or something? And all those jewels certainly looked to be extremely valuable. That's not what stood out the most to me. At least, not once I noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar. Those stains. Could they really have been blood? Wow. Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating. That it has. Talking about the latest installments of the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I presume. The mystery of the knife in the mist, and the mustached man in the convict's curse, perhaps. I can make it a 2-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yes, what is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your 2 titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? It's literally just that one detail. I mean, he could have just told her to leave out the stuff about that specific part, because nothing else really mattered, did it? Besides maybe Selden. Yes.
And so it was that the second of Soseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Voice acting.
Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story.
Man, it feels so weird seeing voice acting after having none for this whole game. Well, besides that one scene.
It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen.
Very good voice acting.
For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again.
Wow.
With an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Oh shit, I was wondering if we would have a case that overlaps with that. Oh, that's gonna be super exciting. I'm very excited. And that is the end of Case 2. God, that was such a good case. The idea of having 2 separate culprits for different crimes, the frickin' revenge story that Miss Green went on, oh man, it was all so well done. And Shamspears was a frickin' great villain. Just, I wouldn't say he had the most complex motives or anything, but I don't know, just his character in general and like his facial expressions. I said it, but they clearly put a lot of thought and effort into his animations and everything. Like, he was an extremely expressive character with a lot of variety. But man, that was an amazing case, and I am very excited for it. Next time on Great Ace Attorney 2 Chronicles, The Resolve. Resolve, not The Resolve. We will head onwards to episode 3, or Chapter 3, or Case 3, whatever you prefer. The Return of the Departed Soul. Adios, ciao, and bye-bye. Signing off until next time. Ciao, matane.